Our project area is going to focus on cybercrime legislation, and we're going to speak on how current legislation came to be and the necessary new legislations. We're going to begin by focusing in on the substantive cybercrime laws, which are laws prohibiting online identity theft, hacking, intrusion into computer systems, intellectual property, online gambling, etc. Then we're going to talk about the procedural cybercrime laws, which are authority to preserve and obtain electronic data from third parties, including internet service providers, authority to intercept electronic communications, authority to search and seize electronic evidence, etc. Then we're going to speak on the state cybercrime laws, laws that they have, laws that they don't, the percentages of each. So this is an overview of the federal substantive cybercrime laws and the procedural cybercrime laws. We probably won't touch on all of them necessarily, but we'll give an overview of what they are, if there's any interesting stories of how they came to be, cases that resulted in such. And then we're going to talk about the state cybercrime laws and the percentages of states that do and don't have certain laws. So this is representing the 50 states as well as the extra 16 territories that are under U.S. law, and the percentages of states that have said legislations like hacking, DOS, ransomware and extortion, phishing, and spyware. We'll go over the current solutions that are being implemented, the Better Cybercrime Metrics Act, which was just proposed and sent through this year, the National Computer Forensic Institute Reauthorization Act, which was also within the past year, and the revisions to the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, which were also done within the past year, but it was originally done in the 90s. And then these are our resources, but we'll also determine our solutions that we believe that should be implemented, anything that we feel is lacking in regards to the legislation. So any laws that we think aren't sound enough, anything that we think should be brought into a law and are still prevalent today, or any other things such as the acts from before that deal with maybe education of these cyber crimes. And
For this project, there are some other things that we would like to examine in addition to what was already mentioned. We would like to go into the history of these laws, why were they necessary, what was happening before they were enacted, what has changed since they were enacted, and how have they evolved over time. We also want to closely examine state laws and determine which, if any of them, should be implemented nationwide. We think it's important to also understand where governments are falling behind and what kind of blind spots they currently have and what should be done to remedy these and get a better solution to what they already have. For reviewing the procedural cybercrime laws, like wiretapping and gathering electronic evidence and things like that, we also want to examine how these laws and proposed laws might brush up against civil liberties we have in the United States and the right to privacy, how encryption could play a role in all of this, and the fight between law enforcement agencies like the FBI and the NSA versus civil liberty groups and privacy activists. Overall, this project is going to be a very comprehensive overview of the kinds of cybercrime legislation that's in place across state governments and the federal government. And for our sources, we're going to use a mix of the IEEE, the ACM Digital Library, government websites, and other credible cybersecurity organizations and news outlets. In this way, we have the most reliable and authoritative sources available. Thank you.